Welcome painters. We're going to be doing a color wheel composition. So the first thing we're going to do is write our first and last name on the back and then flip it over. Next, we're going to get a ruler. You're going to want to instinctually go to the middle of your paper like I'm doing right here. And you're going to want to make a little plus sign in the middle, but no, let's not do it in the middle. Let's go to one of the four corners. Okay, so I'm in the lower left-hand quadrant. I'm making a plus sign with my ruler, and then I'm going to make two little notches in 1/4 and two little notches in another fourth. All right, and then I'm going to line up the notch with the center. Okay, notch with the center, notch with the center, and notch with the center. And that is going to give me enough pies to make a color wheel. Now I'm going to take each of those lines and draw it out from that original interior color wheel, and I'm going to make it go however I want. I'm doing kind of a wave pattern. You could do zigzags, you could do curvies, you could do, you could just do like anything. All right, the only thing I don't want you to do is just keep going straight. Keep it curvy, do something so it's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to just check my work here. I'm thinking I want to add a little bit more of a wave over here. And then once I get that all done, next I'm going to label my sections in the order of a color wheel. Now I'm thinking my favorite color is blue-green. So I want blue-green to be in the biggest part of my color wheel over here. So I'm going to start labeling BG and then work out from there. And you will have a color wheel that you can go off of. All right, and so the next step is, again, just labeling all your pies. So there I go, blue, green, green. All right, and I'm just going to work my way around following the color wheel order, labeling all my pies. And you should have enough room for every single color on the color wheel. Here I go, going around, and there it is. All right, now it is time to paint. I have my palette. You'll see I have two yellows, a blue, a red, a black, and a white. I have a small and big paintbrush, water, and of course table paper to go to the edge. So I'm going to do my color wheel the easy way, and I'm going to start with yellow. So I'm going to get my yellow loaded up. I'm going to go to my yellow pie and paint my yellow pie. So I'm starting with just yellow. Now I'm going to dip just a teeny tiny amount of black in my brush. I'm going to blend that in with the yellow because the yellow is still wet. Do some blending. Black shows up really good in yellow because yellow is a very light color. Wash the black out of your brush. I'm going to add more yellow to the rest of my pie. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white in my brush. Now white and yellow are not super exciting together because yellow is already light. But I'm going to put just a little bit of white in my yellow anyway because I want to tint my yellow. So here I go, putting a little yellow in there. Excuse me, white. And then I'm going to wash the white out of my brush because I don't want white in my brush. And I'm going to go to a yellow orange. Yellow orange is a teeny tiny amount of red mixed in to the yellow. So I'm putting a teeny tiny amount of red on my brush, mixing it into the whole yellow space. And there is my yellow orange. So it's mostly yellow. I'll put that in my yellow orange pie. And then I'm going to put a little bit of black into my yellow orange brush and do some shading of yellow orange. And again, black on yellow orange is very contrasting because it's a light color. Then after I've done that, I'm going to swishy swish my brush out, get rid of all that black, dip some more yellow orange on, fill in the rest of my pie. And then I'm going to put white on my brush and do some tinting. And again, like yellow, white in yellow orange doesn't show up a lot because yellow orange is a very light color. There we go, and you can see it's very light. And then I will wash my brush, get all that white out of my brush because I don't want any white in my orange when I put more red into the yellow orange to make orange. So here I go. A little more red into the yellow orange and I get orange, painting in that pie. This time I'm starting with white, adding a little white into it, wash my brush, add a little black into it, wash my brush, and add more red to the orange. And that gives me red orange. So painting in my little pie, adding a little bit of black, wash my brush, add in a little white, wash my brush, and now I'm doing just red. And if you go in order like this, you're going to go way faster than if you skip around. All right, next I'm going to make red violet. So that's just a little blue put into the red. It's going to be kind of like a brick red. Again, the same pattern. Add black, wash your brush. Add white, wash your brush. Now I'm making violet, more blue in that red violet. This is going to be a very grapey color. So next, black will not show up much. I wash my brush, I add white to it, and because it's so dark, it shows up really great. Now I'm going to wash my brush, add a little red into the blue for blue violet. Again, red into the blue for blue violet. I'm going to fill my area with blue violet. And then I'm going to add a little black, wash my brush. Add a little white, and wash my brush. For blue, you can see now the blue violet definitely looks blue. So I finish painting the whole blue section with blue. I have quite a bit of blue. And black will not show up much in blue because it's dark. So I start with white and I tint my blue. I wash my brush, add black, do a little shading on blue, wash my brush, and now I'm going to go back to yellow-green. So I'm going to wash my brush really good, and I'm going to dip just a little itty-bitty amount of blue into the yellow. That's going to give me a greenish yellow or yellow-green. Brush that into my pie. And again, the tint on this is not going to show up much because yellow-green is very light. And I'm going to shade the top part of it, blending that in. Wash my brush, dip it into the white. Do some tinting, which really isn't going to do much because it's so light anyway. Now I'm going to add more blue to my yellow-green to make green. Get that whole pie painted. And I had kind of a big pie of green. And green is a little bit dark enough that it's going to show the tint a little bit more. So I start with my shade, blend that in, wash my brush, get a little white, blend that in for a tint, and next comes my favorite color, blue-green. So I'm going to put way more blue into the green, really get it dark. Get that dark blue-green into my pie. I think I made this one my biggest one because I like this color more, so I wanted it in my composition to use more space with the blue-green. And then blue-green is really going to take white well because it's dark. So I'm going to mix in white with that blue-green. And the shade, again, because it's dark, isn't really going to show much. So I'm doing mostly tinting on it. I'll wash my brush, dip it in black, do a little bit of shading, and there you go. Now you may ask yourself, why am I always washing my brush in between tinting and shading? It's because I don't want to have a gray color. I want it to either be a tint or a shade. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and thanks for watching.